Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are heading straight out into the vast open deserts of the Horn of Africa for a truly fascinating topic. We're looking at the camel. But we aren't just looking at the camel as an animal of survival. In Somali culture, the camel is a cherished companion. It's a profound symbol of wealth, and honestly, it's the center of an incredibly intricate emotional world. And the craziest part? The way this entire relationship is expressed is completely through music. I want to start our journey with this really beautiful opening hook. When we speak of Somali culture, we speak of poetry, rhythm, and deep connection to the land. We are about to explore a profound human-animal bond, and it's communicated through a living, breathing oral soundtrack. This isn't music performed on a stage or recorded in a studio, right? It's sung right there beside the wells, on dusty tracks, and beneath the open sky. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the Somali Camel Bond, Beyond Livestock. To truly understand this soundtrack, we have to completely reframe how we think about herding. Somali pastoralists don't just quietly walk behind their camels. They actually use their voice as their ultimate tool of connection. They address them, praise them, and comfort them using very specific types of music in this harsh environment. So, here's our roadmap for today. The 5 pillars of the pastoral soundtrack. Shubal, Salsal, His Halid, Jeeb, and Gooks. Together, these 5 distinct song types are going to take us on a chronological journey through a day in the life of a desert herder. Starting right off with Section 2, Songs of the Well, Morning Urgency. I want you to imagine this sensory scene here. It's morning, you're at the well, and it is just chaotic and tense. Watering exhausted camels is arguably one of the absolute hardest parts of herding life. The camels might be hesitant to drink, and there's all this noise, urgency, and pushing crowds around the well. So how do they manage this chaos? Well, they manage it with shubal. These are soft, calming, rhythmic watering songs. Because the environment is so loud and tense, the herder doesn't yell. Instead, they sing gently to reassure the animal. The melody is slow, completely mimicking the patience you need for this task. It isn't shouted, it's whispered in tune. Through this gentle song, the herder communicates trust and safety, which literally turns music into a tool of harmony. What's really interesting about this slide is the sheer poetry used to soothe the animal. The English translation reads, "O camel, do not fear, the water is mercy." It's this incredibly gentle, intimate plea. Just think about that. In the middle of the noise and the dust, the herder is offering this quiet, musical reassurance, telling their companion that the well is actually their friend. All right, moving into Section 3, the rhythm of labor, strength, and routine. Because the morning isn't just about watering. It very quickly transitions into intense physical labor. Packing and moving these massive animals requires an entirely different kind of energy from the herders. And this brilliantly illustrates the functional genius of this musical system. On one side, we have shabal, which is soft and whispered, but actually entirely different tasks require entirely different emotional outputs, like salsal, which is assertive, rhythmic, and strong. The music adapts instantly to serve whatever the immediate need of the moment is. So let's talk about salsal. This is the song of strength and responsibility. These are praise-focused, highly rhythmic songs sung by the men while they're loading or leading the pack camels. That heavy rhythm actually helps synchronize the men's lifting movements. It totally energizes both the camel and the workers around it. More than just a simple work song, salsal transforms the harsh labor of the desert into an actual ceremony that honors the immense burden the camel is taking on for them. The lyrics here are all about deep admiration. The English translation reads, "My camel, you are strong, you carry the long journey." The herder is directly addressing the camel with so much honor and respect. They're acknowledging the camel's power and reliability, which, let's face it, is absolutely essential for survival out in that unforgiving terrain. Now, once the loading is done and the day kind of settles into its grueling, dusty routine, we shift over to His Halid. These are practical, steady, repetitive work songs. They accompany everyday tasks, corralling the camels, guiding them to a resting spot, or just walking that long trail. As the day drags on, His Halid maintains the pace. It keeps spirits steady and really anchors the herders in their daily survival. As you can see, the lyrics here are highly practical. Come in, camels, the corral awaits you. It's a steady rhythm that just keeps the line moving. Through this repetition and familiarity, these psalms help maintain a continuous, peaceful cooperation between the herders and the herd, ensuring the work gets done without any unnecessary stress. Which brings us to Section 4, Voice of the Community, Shared Experiences. Because as the heat of the day reaches its peak, we actually shift our focus from physical labor to social connection. Even out in the harsh desert, there are moments of rest, long stretches of travel, and opportunities for collective sharing. And that's where Jeeb comes in. Unlike the highly specific watering or loading songs, Jeeb is a broad, very flexible folkloric tradition. It's woven into everyday life to express shared experiences. Jeeb proves that pastoral life isn't only about immense hardship, it's also about profound creativity, humor, and joy. It's the voice of collective identity that really strengthens communal bonds among the herders. So the crucial point is captured beautifully right here. Every well has a story, every camel has a name. It is within Jamor Deeb that the cultural memory of the community lives and breathes. Through these songs, the elders teach values, recount their shared journeys, and ensure that the rich history of their people continues to travel with them across the sands. But wait, I want you to pause for a second and imagine this scene. The sun is finally setting. The intense labor of the day has ceased. The community quiets down, and the herder is left totally, completely alone under the vast, overwhelming night sky of the desert. What exactly happens to the soundtrack then? This brings us to Section 5, the pastoral blues, nighttime vulnerability. When the noise of the work fades, the quiet vulnerability of the night sets in, and that leads to perhaps the most profound musical expression of all. This is Gux, which is often beautifully described as the Somali pastoral blues. Gux is sung in moments of deep longing, loneliness, or introspection. When a herder is far from home, missing their family, or worrying about what the future holds, they pour all those heavy feelings into this low, highly personal melody. In Gux, the vast desert becomes a listener, and the camel resting nearby becomes a silent, comforting companion to the herder's inner life. Just listen to these poignant lyrics. The night is long, my heart drips. I spoke to the camel, it stayed silent. It reveals the rich emotional world of the pastoralists, and it highlights a really powerful realization. Immense physical strength and deep, deep emotional vulnerability can and absolutely do coexist perfectly within the herder. Bringing it all together now in Section 6, A Living Archive, Culture in Action. As we bring our explainer's journey to a close, let's pull back from that lonely night sky to look at the big picture, to really understand what this entire system of music represents. You see, these aren't just background work songs to pass the time. This soundtrack is an oral archive of profound wisdom. The songs teach the patience needed at the well. They instill deep respect for the animal during loading. They build community resilience on the trail. And they allow for vital emotional expression in the lonely dark. It's literally a masterclass in emotional intelligence. And this is exactly why this matters so much. In a rapidly modernizing world where we so often think of tradition as something static or old, this pastoral soundtrack proves something vital. Culture lives in daily acts of care. It isn't just confined to stages, museums, or history books. It's alive, it's practical, and it is breathing every single day. I want to cement the core message of our explainer with this really powerful quote directly from our source material. Culture lives not only in books and performances, but in daily acts of care sung between humans and their animals beneath the open sky. It is just a stunning reminder of how art and survival can be so beautifully intertwined. So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. In our fast-paced modern lives, where we're so often disconnected from the natural world, what everyday acts of care have we forgotten to sing about? Think about that as you go about your day. Thank you so much for joining me to learn today, Focus Learners. Stay curious, and I will see you in the next explainer.